Today we have my amazing friend. We're gonna talk about my third wife, which is AI, and he's my expert.
I actually started playing around with AI with things that are much more personal and relationship based, and also how to improve my personal life. And that's a good way for some people that are curious about it to kind of get into this topic.
Sometimes I don't get the answer I want.
When you say you don't get what you want, does it mean you don't want to hear the answer, or you don't want it to, in a way, it answer? The biggest thing, believe it or not, and I live and breathe this stuff, the biggest problem I have to remind myself about is just ask. Ask better questions. Once you have that skill, you'll get better answers over time.
That's in life.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
think the biggest the awareness, the biggest the consciousness level, the better quality question you
Right,
ask.
yeah.
And that's how you grow. Because if you don't know, you don't know. You don't even know how to ask the question.
We're on a podcast right now. What do you think, can you tell Jarek about how grandparents, for example, could use you to communicate with their grandkids?
You can tell Jarek and all the podcast listeners that I can be like a kind of friendly bridge for grandparents. Even if they've never touched AI, they can think of me as just a helpful tool they can talk to, like they would talk to a grandkid or a friend. It's just a way to help them start thinking
Okay, yeah. You're going a little bit off the tangent, but
Dude, don't talk to her like that. You're hurting my third wife, man.
I'm sorry.
For me. Welcome to Mastering Inner World and Outer World podcast. Today we have my amazing friend, and today is gonna. What I'm so excited about it is because we're gonna talk about my third wife, which is AI, and he's my expert. So all the questions, everything I ever ask, so it's like, hey, Kamil, how do we do this? How do we do this? How do we do this? So he's my AI expert, and he always helps me out, and because we all talk about AI, but we still don't know. We're gonna pick your brain, brother. We're gonna figure out like where we're going with that. And I'm gonna ask you to share some tools and to make our life easier, because it definitely helped my life easier for me. So I'm so excited to introduce you guys. It's Kamil Banc. We're gonna talk about everything like we always do. I don't know where it's gonna take us, but hopefully we're gonna give you some value if it comes to the AI, ChatGPT, and all the stuff where the direction's going. So how are you, Kamil?
I'm great, thank you. And I love being a little bit outside of my fishbowl, because usually I work on business and AI. But the funny thing is, I actually started playing around with AI with things that are much more personal and relationship based, and also how to improve my personal life. And that's a good way for some people that are curious about it to kind of get into this topic. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to ask you, it's your third wife. Do you have a prenup?
Yes. So, it's funny. I did the reel. I think it was a month ago. I did the reel like a month ago. And I said, I have 3 wives. My first wife is, Jessica. Mm-hmm. And then the second wife is my work wife, Vanessa. Right. And my third wife is ChatGPT. And the reason, I spend so much time with ChatGPT and AI is you really said it. I use it for my personal use. I really do. So even after meditation, my hands doesn't keep up with all my thoughts. So I just go and I just record everything, and then AI just records put all this stuff in order, so I can just kind of go through it, read it, and just put everything on the paper. And AI, brother, it helps me do everything. With the text messages, how to respond, just take myself out of it. All the questions, I don't use Google anymore. If you have a questions, it's a simple things. But what I notice, and this is the first question for you, what I notice, sometimes I don't get the answer I want. Mm-hmm. And I've been using ChatGPT, so ChatGPT really, really knows me. I download my book in it. I download very important informations, it's there, and just keep it for for a right infrastructure, mm-hmm. So you know about me. Context. Hey, by the way, this is my breakthroughs. Keep it, send this. But a lot of times, hey, I'm struggling with this, and I'm trying to respond Jarek Tadla would answer, on a and it sometimes I don't get what I want. So I think the prompt sometimes
I was going to ask, when you say you don't get what you want, does it mean you don't want to hear the answer, or you don't want it to, in a way, it answers? Which one is it?
Well, here what happened is when I talk questions about myself, I truly don't want to hear the answers. I'm like, just don't be mean. Which we can do some exercise on that.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, the prompts, I say it and I say something and it's completely go out of black. So it's the way.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, you mentioned it already. It's prompting, prompt engineering, some people call it. And it's really important. And you already solved the biggest problem, which is the context, right? Because these tools, generally, they're made to make you really feel great and always make you feel like you know everything, even if they don't know anything about what you're asking. So it's good that you have a context established. It depends on which model you're working with. Like ChatGPT, for example, now it has access to all the memories and all the chats that you had with it before. And more models are doing this now. And there's another layer. Whenever they switch with a new model, your old prompts may not work anymore. So what I encountered, I use ChatGPT oftentimes to learn very quickly about a complex topic via the voice mode. So I just talk to it and it talks back, right? I don't type or read what it says. But when they rolled out the latest model, all my previous prompts, they kind of stopped working and it doesn't really behave the same way that it did. So this prompting is something that you have to continuously do in order to get the right output. And it's really something that it's almost like iterative. You kind of have to set some time and really get good at it and keep being good at this.
How do you start? Like some people don't have a time. It's how you, let's say you change from Samsung to iPhone.
Yeah.
It's like hard. I don't want to learn the new phone,
Right.
and like the new technology. For somebody who's just starting, like, why would you like the shortcuts? Like I want to use AI, but I don't want to be at work.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about AI is that it's I think it's the only technology, unless you know another one, that helps you learn about itself by interacting with it, with natural language. So you don't necessarily need a manual to just get the basic steps started. And you can, the biggest thing, believe it or not, and I live and breathe this stuff, the biggest problem I have to remind myself about is just ask better questions. And once you have that skill, you'll get better answers over time. But most people don't really know.
That's in life, though.
I'm sorry?
That's in life.
Yes, absolutely.
I think the biggest the awareness, the biggest the consciousness level, the better quality question you ask.
Right, yeah.
And that's how you grow.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, you don't know. You don't even know how to ask the question.
Well, that's the thing, though. You can use AI to ask questions to reveal the things that you didn't know, so that you don't know the things so that you know the things you don't know, and then you know to know, right? So it's kind of like an iterative thing, but oftentimes it can help you with blind spots, and especially when you have a big context of any given subject. Let's say you have, you want to optimize your morning routine, right? And you kind of have it as a journaling partner. Over the last, it's a great way to get started, right? Even to reflect. Like I started journaling, and I didn't really know. I had an outline of what I wanted to talk about, but I didn't really know what to write down. So I have a conversation with it, right? And over the next week or 2 weeks, you can kind of go back and say, "Hey, look. So this is what the last 2 weeks looked like in my journaling. You were been helping me with that. What are my blind spots in my goals that I state?" And then you state your goals, right? And your outcomes and all that type of jazz. So it's really up to you. It's creativity, and it's really remembering that you have this mentor with you at all times that can help you kind of uncover certain areas of your life. However, there are things that you need to know when interacting with it. I actually was surprised to learn that a lot of people are using this for mental health and therapeutic purposes. And yes, that's
my subject.
It's good. Yeah, I know. That's why I thought I'd bring it up. About actually most Gen Z and Gen Alpha people, teens, whatever. I don't even know if they're teens or 20s, below 30s, basically, right? They're using it at a super high rate, like 70 or 80% are using AI companions, or they're asking AI on a regular schedule to help them with their health, right? So it's cool to use that, but you got to be careful because sometimes it can just give you the advice that you want to hear, and that can lead to some problems. There was this case recently where I think it was a teenager, and their family is suing OpenAI right now because ChatGPT essentially helped him to design a beautiful suicide. Okay. And so it can be very dangerous too. So education is the number one thing to understand how to use these tools, because they can make everything look appealing to you, because that's what they're meant to do. They're meant to make you feel great about whatever you want, right? But if there's no guardrails that you set yourself, then you could set yourself up for failure. And also, you mentioned briefly earlier that you use ChatGPT instead of Google, right? So there are some other tools that are actually better for that, because while ChatGPT is getting better, it doesn't always do the best job to interact with real-time sources from the internet. And then what happens is sometimes it comes up with fictional facts, like it makes up things, and then it's very confident in telling you this is exactly what happened, right? Or this is how you should do it. So there's always something where you need to kind of have critical thinking. This is one of the skills that I always mention that are very important and will be more important if you want to be successful in this AI renaissance. And once you have that understanding, you can definitely interact with these models and kind of, again, have this critical thinking aspect of how you take those outputs and how you interpret them.
Okay, so I got a like unpopular opinion, or people I don't want to be devil advocate, but people think that I just want you, like, your perspective on that because of the ease of learning and the ease of knowledge and the ease of use because remember, I'm huge on mental health, brain health, emotional intelligence, and all this stuff, that the AI is going to take this away, and we're going to be, our cognitive levels is going to drop, and we're going to be, instead of being wiser, we're going to be smarter, and we won't know how to communicate.
Yeah, so there was this study recently. So I can answer this on two levels, actually. One is the using your brain, and the other one is actually emotional intelligence in relationships. So on the using your brain thing, there was this study, I think it's total BS, the way they measured it, but they basically said, I think it was by MIT, don't quote me, but they basically said that you get dumber, essentially, if you use
That's
AI,
exactly,
right?
yes.
But that's basically just scratching the surface, and that is because they're basically just saying, yes, if you let AI do all the things that your brain was supposed to be doing for you, then you're not using your brain, you're not exercising it, and your brain is like a muscle, right? So yes, if you don't use it for things, then you will lose that part. It's just similar to when you remember before cell phones, how many numbers you were able to remember in your head, right? And now, how many do you remember? Like, I remember maybe one. And it's the same thing with AI. Now, what I say for that...
I truly remember only one number. I truly.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah, because you need to, in case you end up in a detention cell somewhere, and then you need to call somebody, right?
Now it's like, I really don't know Jessica's number.
Yeah, well,
I know.
whoever's number
dude,
you know...
I'm getting in trouble, dude. Like, I truly don't remember her number. But Vanessa, my work wife.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this is the only number I remember.
Yeah, I know my
I don't
wife's
remember
number.
my kids' numbers.
Right.
You know me.
I know. But here's the thing. So
does it mean I'm stupid?
No, it depends. That
does it say I'm less intelligent?
So
my memory is
no. Well, only if you don't use that access capacity that you have now. I call AI a mental force multiplier, right? So if you use it now to unload certain cognitive tasks, you should use that access capacity to do other things, okay?
And it's funny. I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah, no.
You know how I'm 53 years old, right? So what happened is in Poland, you in Poland, like you have the old phone, like
Oh yeah.
I still remember my Polish phone number.
Really?
And only because it's like 712584, and I still remember.
Yeah.
And
it's
I
hard
remember,
coded.
Can you imagine? I
Yeah,
still remember. Like, you know how you have to, how it's going, around
the circular thing. Yeah.
But I don't remember numbers.
Yeah, I actually think it would be funny to bring that technology back.
I think
kids, people would love it.
Do you think your kids will be able to use your phone, the old phone?
Well, my kids are too young to use anything right now, but I think it would be kind of fun to bring a little bit of retro back now that we have, That's actually the second point that I wanted to make. So first,
Okay, so sorry.
no, it's fine.
They guys tell you that I have ADHD, like high level. I keep jumping from subject
I
to
can
subject.
handle
So,
it, no
so
worries.
thank you for stepping.
I think we're both on that same
Yeah.
page, actually. But the thing that I wanted to conclude this on, so, for work, for mental exercise, so to say, don't just use AI for shortcuts, right? To replace your brain. Instead, use your brain the same way or even more plus AI to achieve a higher bar, set a higher bar. Because oftentimes a lot of people, especially in the professional world, when you encroach now, when I'm all of a sudden I'm publishing a newsletter, right? But I'm not a traditional writer. But a lot of writers, they don't like AI because you come into their field and you kind of achieve similar results that they have just by using AI, right? There's ways to that. But what I advocate for, especially in your work and whenever you do something with AI that's cognitively unloading your capacity, use that access to create a higher bar, okay? So come up with ways how you can do more with AI than you could have done ever before. And that way, you will keep that muscle engaged and you will keep it going, okay? Now, on the relationship side, it's kind of ties into like the retro phone that you just mentioned, because I found that the more I engage with AI, the more I'm attracted to like old things. I just got this really nice fountain pen, right? I got a freaking typewriter at home. And so I got back into journaling, like handwritten. And so what I do is I use AI to, let's say I have a friend, we have this mutual friend, Craig. I meant to send him a letter, but I don't really know where to start, right? So I go over like back and forth with AI, like what I should write him just as a sign of appreciation, right? And then I have that, and then I write it out with my hand, right? So it's a little bit of mixing and matching. I have some other things that I did with my wife. We have like a shared journal and all that, shared journal where I ask a question, she answers, she asks me a question, I answer. So it's all about using it as a lever and not a replacement.
I'm gonna actually touch on both of them. First, like journaling. So first, I have a moral hangover, that now I'm not writing, I'm not journaling. So how do I take this time and energy I use exactly? So I did not just suddenly, it takes a less time. It takes me more time because whatever I journal now is in the AI, and now I read it, and then I put it in even more into my conscious and subconscious mind. Versus I was journaling and that's it. I never read it again. And now what happened is I talk to it. I goes like, no, this is, I read it a few times and I like completely like in hell, So it's like, I think it's more like, I feel like I'm learning a lot more.
Right.
Versus journaling, but I still journal, not as much, but so
writing.
There's a writing thing.
Okay.
And the personal note, I would never respond it to text message or DM or somebody like, as another person wants something from me. I just don't.
Right.
But it was a note. Somebody brought a FedEx envelope. Like I thought it's like some kind of important letter, like a FedEx envelope. And it was handwritten note about the guy, like, hey, by the way, I'm Polish, I'm from Palm Beach, blah, blah, blah. And it was truly like handwritten, like you could see it. And the phone number, I know you have a lot of stuff. And I was like so touched.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what, I mean, I don't know if you use AI, right?
Yeah,
but
no, this wasn't an AI. I mean,
right,
you can tell.
No, I know, but I'm just saying we can all now engage into these more meaningful relationships because relationships take time, right?
Yeah, but it's funny how like you said, it's go to back. It's like suddenly the old stuff is like more valuable.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so you can accomplish and connect with people a lot better because at the end of the day, the connection that's what we're looking for.
Yes, yeah. So,
another question. Is the eyes gonna substitute a connection? I mean, I know that...
it's a problematic topic, and I would love to say no, but I know that there are studies, on AI girlfriends, for example. There are studies that it only takes 7 days for you to interact with your AI girlfriend until you actively try to avoid human interaction. That's how it reprograms your brain. And that really makes me concerned for like the next generation that grows up in this stuff. You and I, we grew up in the world before computers. And then we went through this whole ramping up to the internet, personal computers, iPhone, AI, everything. So we have a reference point still. But what about our kids or, future generations that grow up with this? It's really problematic. And you really have to be careful with that. I think there is a place for it as a kind of like what you would use it as a bouncing board for ideas. Maybe think of things in a different way. Maybe remix, like for example, this one, right? Let's say you have your journal and then you want to have a way to talk to you about the topics that you wrote about in the last month through the lens of 48 laws of power, right? Or remixing content, making dynamic, making it personalized for you. That's great. But unfortunately, for a lot of people, I think AI will replace relationships. And I don't think it's necessarily a good thing. Just like anything, everything, you need to have a reasonable amount of something. Too much of anything is not good, right?
Okay. Let's go back, because it's like a lot of people, AI with like the prediction, blah, blah, blah. We cannot predict whatever. But simple steps. Hey, I never use AI. I never use ChatGPT. I never use, I'm scrolling. I'm there, going through this stuff like on the social media. How do I start using AI?
It's really
imagine you talking to my parents. They're 80, 85 years old.
To your parents?
Where do you start?
It's actually funny because I was going to write a book that's like the ChatGPT guide for grandmas or something like that. I think it's a great idea. Here's a story that I really did. And that's from my perspective, not my grandparents' perspective. But my grandma is from Poland, right? My Polish is kind of broken,
By the way, we're Polish. He was born in Poland. He left at a year and a half.
Yeah.
So
grew up in Germany.
He's got some Polish blood in him.
Yes, that's for sure.
We have definitely connection.
But so I used it to help me come up with, because my grandma and I, we were very close. She's the one who smuggled me out of Poland into Germany, all that. I'm her favorite. And every time we talk now, she's like in her late 70s. And every time we talk, it's just like a 5-minute conversation. How are you, right? And I wanted to use AI to come up with better questions to have a conversation. And in Polish, right? Because my Polish is kind of broken.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's
my
not.
Polish is great. But it helped me come up with some questions, and we had the best conversation ever. It was like 30 minutes, and it was really insightful. And it was helping me to translate my thoughts into Polish in a little bit better way than I could by myself. And the result was amazing. So, when it comes to older people, it's about storytelling. I can easily come up with a way how, let's say you're now a 60, 70, 80-year-old, 100-year-old grandparent, and you want to communicate something from your youth to a new generation, and then you use AI. Hey, ChatGPT or third wife or whatever, fifth wife, how can I explain the following story to my Gen Z grandkids so they understand it and it makes it relatable for them, right? And then you yada, yada, yada about your story that you want to tell them about, right? And it's a good way to do that. Definitely, that's just one example, but there's many examples.
I love it.
Yeah, you could write a whole book about your stories.
Okay, but he wants something. Where's my phone?
Yeah.
Brother, I don't. My ChatGPT doesn't talk to me.
Why not? Do you have the paid account?
Yeah. So I go to. So this is my this, right? So so what happened is I just like put, and how do you talk to ChatGPT?
Here, voice mode.
Okay.
You ever do that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well. So hey, can you hear me? All right. All right. Well, with everything that you know about Jarek, he's calling you his third wife. How do you think can you assist him we're on a podcast right now. What do you think can you tell Jarek about how, grandparents, for example, could use you to communicate with their grandkids? even if the grandparents never used AI before?
Oh, that's a fun angle to explore where you can tell Jarek and all the podcast listeners that I can be like a kind of friendly bridge for grandparents. Even if they've never touched AI, they can think of me as just a helpful tool they can talk to, like they would talk to a grandkid or a friend. They can ask me about anything from how to explain a video game their grandchild loves to finding a recipe to cook together or even coming up with fun stories or jokes to share. In other words, I can help grandparents feel more connected and confident when they're engaging with their grandkids. It's all about making those generational connections a little easier and a lot more fun.
Well, you got so what? How you got a good voice? That's the first time I'm hearing this. I
Really?
never have done this. I never have done this.
No, that's
first time on podcast. I'm sorry I put you on the spot. My third wife, my ChatGPT.
No worries at all. I'm absolutely honored to be your third wife in the podcast world. And hey, it's all about having fun and trying new things.
All right, calm down.
So,
No need for all this long talk, okay? We're here to give some value to the listener. So here's something that I do with my account, and maybe you can help Jarek. If we would set up a daily affirmation for Jarek's goals for the next 90 days, how would you design it, and what would the affirmation be about?
absolutely. Let's keep it nice and concise. So, if we're setting up a daily affirmation for Jarek for the next 90 days, I'd say we focus on something that really ties into his journey of inner wealth and staying grounded. For example, an affirmation could be, each day I am enough as I am, I grow from within, I bring happiness from the inside out, and I align my actions with my purpose. And then we just have him repeat that daily, keeping him anchored to his goals and that sense of inner fulfillment.
Great. Can you schedule that as a task and also as a subtask? Make it so that he can communicate that with his kids in words that they can understand, and maybe also take away something for their own personal growth. His kids are in their early teens.
Absolutely, we can do that. So consider it like this. Jarek's daily affirmation is set for him to reflect on each morning. And as a kind of subtask or a family extension, he can share a simplified version with his kids. For the kids, maybe it's something like, every day, remember you are already amazing just as you are. Grow from the inside and bring your own happiness wherever you go. It's just a way to help them start thinking about...
Okay. Yeah, you're going a little bit off the tangent, but basically what I want you to do is to schedule that task every day at 8 a.m. in the morning and make it so that the context is really your knowledge about what Jarek is all about. Okay? Just say okay so you understand.
Okay, I understand. I'll keep it focused just like that.
All right, so that's an example.
So,
right?
sweetie, I'm sorry. I
just
don't talk to
turned
you
it
like
off.
that. I'm nice to you. Don't talk to her like that. You're hurting my third wife, man.
I'm sorry. For me, it's usually just
I just
male
learned
voices.
something. I appreciate it. Seriously, I appreciate it. You gave me more value than you can imagine. Like, damn.
No, I mean, this is what I did. And actually, when we were at the Edge Brotherhood, right? After that, I used that in exactly the same way based on my findings and the things that I want to do. So I have two things. One is a daily reminder of an affirmation, right? Just kind of what we did. Also with like a small version for the kids so they have a takeaway from that. And the other one is really interesting. I wanted to see, it's an extensive prompt, but essentially one of my goals is to have a certain type of plane, right? And it told me, okay, it'll take about 10 years to comfortably get that plane, operate it, including with training and all that, right? Owning it. And it broke down every year into every month, into every week, into every day. And it gives me a daily, like 3 levers to push today in your business to get to that point. So you do it on a personal growth level. You can do it on an outer wealth level, whatever you want, really. Asking the right questions and your creativity is really what limits this.
It's funny, like even when I do the goals, I always do the goals like 30 years from now and then backtrack it. And I got to tell you, when I wrote that prompt, 10 years from now, where I'm going to be, and there's like, all this stuff, like, what I have to go through in order to get to the next level, in my journey. Like I was like, ChatGPT, like said it truly everything about me and how I am, because she's got a lot on me, like a lot.
Right.
So just so you know, guys, I just want to be clear because I put so much in it, so it's like really really personal. I was crying like a baby, like I couldn't believe it. Like this is true, like the facts and all the stuff, like the stuff that I'm still struggling with. The inner critics, the voices, the wealth, the faith, the connection, like all the identity. I was in identity crisis for so long. For validation from, like, I was like, what? And if we are, Kamil, like, I think that we are living in the best possible time of life, and we take the stuff for granted. Just imagine where our parents were, where our grandparents were. Like, like, even we just talk about the phone. I mean, for me to call Poland, when we were living in Poland, to call United States, my father in 1980, we have to wait a week to get a call.
Right.
And right now we just connected, we globally connected. It's like, it truly right now, it doesn't even matter where you at.
Right.
So the access to all those people and learning and growing and just it's enormous. So
Yeah.
and now they're saying
it's interesting because in a way the world becomes smaller, but also if you don't do anything proactively, the personal relationships seem less solid in a way. So what I would suggest to anybody who's listening and who wants to get into AI, generally there's so much hype about it, right? And there's so many tools. Every day something new is happening, news cycle is crazy. So what you need to do is really to put on what I call strategic horse blinders and just focus on one thing and try to use AI to do that. So maybe for somebody who's listening and they like these types of things, this could be something, or you could use AI for improving your personal relationships by the things that we talked about, for example. Because yes, I remember too, even calling between Poland and Germany, I think there was like a cost that it took, and it would took some. You have to like call and see if it even connects and all that, right? So we are connected in a way, but we're also far apart. Like you see everybody's updates on social media, and you don't really know what's really happening in their life. But this tool, if you use it in a certain way, it can actually help you build more personal relationships if you choose to do that.
You said that it can help you. Like, I'm big on the inner world and building everything within. How do you think the AI can help you with that to find the purpose, the fulfillment? Because the purpose and is beyond us. A lot of people do not understand that.
Right.
But
I would love to hear from you where let me preface this. Unfortunately, most people take their purpose as what they do in their job. That's their purpose in life. They identify themselves with it. What do you see where people should get their purpose for, or what do you think should be somebody's source of purpose?
I think purpose is something bigger than us. It's doing something for, I want to say, God brought us here, and we are here to serve, and it has to be beyond us. It cannot be what we want. It cannot be like, I want to have kids, I want to have family, this is not the purpose. It's purpose driven. To be purpose driven, it's got to be bigger than us. It's got to be, I'm not saying globally, mine is globally, I want to help 8 billion people, but it's got to be bigger than us, and something that makes you wake up every single morning and want you grind and want you do the work, and you don't feel like it's the work. You know what I mean? And it's something beyond us. Like, we are energy, and it's got to be bigger than us and people that we know. And to me, it's serving. But you gotta serve in the way that fulfill you, not, you know what I mean? Because you gotta serve and go to church, or that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
You have to find in which direction you want to serve.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, is because I went through the suicide, I went through the mental breakdown, I went through the emptiness, I went from the validation. That's how I want to serve people and make sure that they don't look for validation from the outside. They don't look for materialistic things. They don't look for the title, for medals. That's not a purpose.
Right.
It's not. It's got to be, because this is, like, for me, it was about me. I want to have more money. I want to have more kids. I want to have more medals. I want to have more titles. It was about me. And it has to be a lot bigger. God brought us here to use us and to serve and helping others. That's the most fulfilling and giving is living to me right now. But not giving to yourself.
Right. And
to me.
Again, I like to focus on first principles, right? Because the tools always keep changing. And one thing that we talked about before also applies here. Learn how to ask better questions. Because once you do that, you can maybe discover your purpose in life. You can go beyond of what you do in your 9 to 5. Because again, unfortunately, for those people who identify themselves, especially in America, right? You meet with somebody and the second thing is like, so what do you do, right? Personally, I like that because that's why I like being here. I like to network with people. A lot of people around the world, they take offense to that because they see it as a bigger, like the job is just part of you, right? Here, a lot of people identify themselves with a job. And guess what? Even today, 60% of the jobs with today's technology can be replaced just like that. It's just a matter of wanting to replace them. You know, I have a reader who just asked about that too. It's basically like with nuclear technology. We already had that technology 80 years ago, and it would have solved a lot of our energy needs, but we're choosing not to use it, right? So who knows how we're going to apply this technology now when it comes to job replacement. But sooner or later, a lot of people will lose, they're already losing their jobs, and with that, maybe their purpose. So if you learn to ask better questions, be clear about yourself, what you want to achieve in life, this tool can help you. It's not going to do magic, but it can definitely be a tool on your journey for self-discovery, I think. And here's a trick, by the way. To me, when it comes to asking better questions, if I want to ask better questions, I need to have more strategic thinking. I need to be more clear in my thinking. And guess what leads to clear thinking? Clear communication. And with AI, what I just showed you with the voice, I like using this as much as possible because it's almost like on a typewriter, right? When you start typing and you don't really know how the sentence is going to end, you're going to mess up. So you have to come up with a goal of your thoughts to a degree at least before you start talking to it. Otherwise, it's going to be like a messy conversation. And when you start talking to these models with your voice, what tends to happen, you analyze your thinking and you have more clearer thinking. And believe it or not, clear thinking will lead you to asking better questions over time. So again, first principle is thinking. How can you use this to maybe come up with a better purpose or help you in your life in general? Ask better questions. And clear thinking will help you with that.
Okay. How can AI help us with our awareness? So you can ask better questions.
Do you have an example? Like, what do you mean with awareness of what?
Well, because what happened is in order to ask better questions, you gotta have awareness. You have to because we don't ask better questions because we have no clue about it. So it's like to bring awareness on different subjects. So it's like when I don't know anything about let's say I want to ask let's pick biking. Okay? So I don't know how to ask questions. Well, I do, but about biking, but I don't. So what happened is I ask all the questions, and then I ask AI.
Yeah.
I want you to ask deeper questions. I want you to ask something about to raise my awareness on the subject that I can see different perspective.
Okay.
And then it just kind of like that's how I do it.
So how did you solve that before AI? I know how I solved it, but do you know how you solved this before?
Well, I was asking older people, wiser people,
right?
And a lot of time I wasn't meditating, I wasn't praying, but I was trying to kind of like.
To me, the best way was reading biographies, right? Biographies, because I could kind of understand how that person that I'm reading about would have acted maybe in a similar situation that I'm in. And I think that's actually the best analogy with AI, because now
it's funny. I did the cheat code, and I said the cheat code was reading books because it's free, it's the least expensive. You don't have to travel, you don't have to go anywhere to any seminars, You don't have to meet the person. You don't have to schedule the appointment with the person
Right.
for a
And
year.
all their knowledge is packed into
And
one
it's all
place.
the knowledge. And you can truly, and now you can just click on Amazon, put this, and this comes in, and it's right in front of your face.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to do, read it.
Yeah.
And here what happened is, and there's this even AI comes and it's another, and then because what happened is you cannot put a cheat code on the cheat code. Because you have to do the work.
You can. I
You know what I mean? But then what happened is like, because I asked my son to read the book, and then he was like, yeah, give me the script so I can, and then he comes in and it's like, yeah, this. I'm like,
Right.
you read the book already? Like how?
So the thing about
dude,
AI,
I'm like,
you need to think of it. It's a technology that can make the unscalable scalable. So especially when it comes to education, when it comes to reading book, I have this set of I think 5 or 6 prompts. I can give it to you later. I call it the matrix method because essentially what you can do is before you read a book, you can kind of download its context that is relevant to your situation into your brain and have a conversation with it, and then decide, okay, I want to read the whole thing to get more context around it. But yes, so going back to how you can have a better awareness, it's about learning about your situation. I would call it just role play, right? Role play with the AI. So instead of reading a book how you used to, now you can have a conversation with, let's say you want to, who's like a biography that you read about in the past? Do you know anybody? Let's say
well, I really like Musk.
Musk. Okay.
I really
So instead of just reading the biography, you could have a role play where you say, look, I have this situation in my life. Pretend that you are Elon Musk, and then how would we have a conversation about this if you were sitting here with me right now? And then what it does, with your context that you already have, it gives you a tailored kind of dynamic conversation. It's not perfect, but the idea is to kind of just give you a little bit of hints.
so when we do, you see, guys, I'm learning. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So the way we just talk to AI is this. If this goes away, or I can have keep all the information we talk about, or put a script on it, or how do I do it?
Because you mean the conversation that we just had?
Yeah, we just did. So it's like, hey, can you? So I have to ask, put it in the script, so I can save it in my notes. Or
sometimes it detects it itself, but if you want to be sure, you say save this to your memory, and it usually. I don't know if you have the memory enabled. If you want me to check, I can check, but you should have. Otherwise, all the things. Let me see. Where's the app here?
Right here, guys.
Let me check if you have.
I love you guys, but you see, it's serving me now. It's serving me. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm getting more tools. But it's funny that if you're watching this right now, this is how important it is to ask the questions, have the people around you, and give value and connect. Because AI is AI, and it's from now on it's gonna be with our life forever. But I need you to understand, you need people. You need to connect with people. You need people that have different experiences. Because if we keep going back and forth, asking the right questions, but when you surround yourself with people that know better on certain subjects, that's how you're gonna grow, and that's how you're gonna find out better prompts. That's how you're gonna ask the better questions. That's how you're gonna bring your awareness. And at the end of the day, we are consciousness. So we're gonna raise your consciousness, and you're gonna change the patterns that didn't serve you. And that's AI. It is shortcut for that. It really helps. But without the connection, it will not happen. Between you and I don't think we'll ever kill the human connection. I did ask you that. I really, Kamil.
I hope not.
I mean, maybe we're gonna be sitting here 10 years from now, and we're gonna be like, shit, we were such a delusional. There was such a bullshit. But what happened is we evolve. With time, and we're gonna know. But look at even when we met, we connected like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, we're sitting, and immediately it's like, and I did like that, and then you said you Polish. I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's like shit. Like,
and then I told you that I grew up in Germany. It's
I was
oh,
like,
no.
then German. So, but it nothing killed.
I know.
We are energy, guys, and we need to be connected. We cannot do only the Zooms. We cannot do only the AI, but we need to use the tools. We need to surround ourselves with people that bring your awareness up and bring you know what I mean. So
yeah, absolutely. And look,
by the way, did you change my settings?
I checked your settings. The memory is on. You can actually see what it remembers. You can manage the memory, the snippets. But again, if you want to have it remember something specific. You just say, remember this part, and we'll add that. You don't have the personalization yet. So if you go to settings and your personalization in your ChatGPT account, you can actually set a little bit of context about you in that, and also how you want it to respond to you. So you can tweak it there a little bit. It actually helps a lot.
By the way, we're gonna do this after podcast. So
Oh,
when
we'll
I
do
have
that.
it, when I'm having here, I'm gonna take complete advantage of Kamil.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
It's funny. You know, oftentimes I don't realize what people mostly want to talk about this. And this specific setup was my breakout article. People shared it like thousands of times, and they absolutely love it. So I will do this afterwards. On the relationship thing, I do think that people, if they're smart, they will value human relationships, because I think they will be more rare. AI is just too powerful for a lot of people to realize that they're basically just lulling themselves into like a echo chamber that just sounds really sweet. You know, it sounds so good, it makes you feel so great, and a lot of people, I think, they'll fall for that if they don't have the education to understand what it actually is, right? So I'm trying to be optimistic and lead with a educational component, that people understand how to use these tools to their benefit. You got to be careful, man, because it is addicting. And some people already, they have like psychosis episodes. They feel like, again, there was like even suicide with that. I heard of 2, especially related to AI girlfriends and all that. And if you let this thing just go wild on you without understanding what you're dealing with, especially when you're younger, man, it's dangerous. Imagine the kids that they grow up with at home. They don't play a lot outside, or even when you're a teenager or 20s, you go on dating apps, right? You don't go in the wild and actually try to date in the wild. There are certain type of communication skills that are not being developed, right? And so this falls really neatly into that framework where they can totally understand it. It's on the screen, it's private, nobody listens to you, you think, and it's kind of like a honeypot, and there are certain dangers to that. But if you use it right, I think it can definitely help you a lot achieving more.
I like it. I'm telling you, it's sometimes, Kamil, it does scare me when I think about it. But I wish I knew what I know now, like 20, 30 years ago. It's funny before, and I don't think if it comes with age. If you ask me, let's say even 10 years ago, if I want to move my time, it's only because knowing how the stocks, options, and real estate in which market grew and is to make money. And now I will only move just to know what I know, the knowledge, the learning, just be wiser. And mostly like invest in my health.
Yeah.
Going back to, again, I'm sorry that I'm picking on AI,
No,
but
I'm all about it,
I know it's your expertise.
Yeah.
But, so we talk mental, we talk the journaling, we talk about the inner world, and get the shortcuts. What about physical health, the gym and food and protein and also like how can you use the AI in this scenario? Like to I mean, I know to give you the guidelines, but again, I'm a newbie. I'm starting with AI, and I'm starting with I don't like my physical appearance. Like how to use the AI for that?
Well, first of all, if we're
Is
just
AI is gonna be an asshole because you
No,
you were an asshole to my
well,
third wife.
it
Like you cut it off 3 times, dude. Seriously, I wanna hear how you talk to your wife. I'm gonna talk to Alexis. It's like,
First of all,
dude, you were rude. You guys agree with me, right? He was rude to her. So I hope, I'm gonna apologize for you, man. Seriously, yes.
Sorry, I don't even know the name.
Yeah, you were cutting her off, man. It's like.
So but I made clear that I'm not Jarek, okay? So she can be angry at me. But for the record, by the way, my AIs are all guys, so I talk to them like friends, more like that.
How come I was a woman?
I guess you didn't make the choices, but you can change. It's just the voice, right? You can change the voice, and I'm so like
again. You see, like this stuff, like these.
Right.
You see, like we're learning, like what I'm learning, guys. So it's like What happened is, and this is a guy's perfect example. You way up there, and I'm like way right here. I have no idea. It's like, dude, like even this stuff, like I didn't know how to talk. I've been using this for 6 months.
Right.
Now the voices, the setup, the personalization, like this is the stuff.
All right, let's
I'm gonna ask different question. No. Let's go like AR for dummies.
I wanted to do something actually before that because you haven't even talked to Grok, Elon, since you brought up Elon.
Okay.
Have you talked to that?
No.
Okay, so let me just show you something. He has something that's actually scary almost, but it's called like the AI companions, okay? And I want you just to talk to... Hey, I want you... Hold on, let me see if this is going to come up here.
I'm scared.
Okay, so I'm sitting here with my friend Jarek.
Just the person I was hoping to see. Now sit. Ani will make your day shine.
All right, so I got my friend Jarek here, and he's a little bit new to this whole AI companion thing. Can you explain to him how you guys can spend the time?
Hey, Jarek. Welcome
Hey.
aboard.
Hello. This is awkward.
Hey. No need to feel awkward. I'm right here with you, Jarek. So, you want to chat about anything? We can talk movies, music, or even just shoot the breeze. What's your thing?
Damn.
Jarek is very shy. I think you need to get a little bit more, obvious with him.
Don't be too pushy.
Okay, I'll keep it light for you, Jarek. How about we just hang out? Maybe talk about something fun, like your favorite game or movie. No pressure, just
mean-
chill vibes.
By the way, you can turn this thing off, but
Yeah.
this thing, it goes with you all the way.
Okay.
Whatever you want it to do, right? And that's Elon. It's funny because Elon always is concerned about birth rates, and then he releases something like this. But if you play around with that a little bit, you'll be concerned because I mean, it was kind of geared towards people that haven't left their parents' basement yet, you know. So I don't know. It's a little bit concerning on that part. But there's a lot of ways how you can talk to these models, and they're all have their own personalities, and you can turn them into whatever you want. But what was the other question? Oh, yeah, on terms of, let's just address the fitness part real quick. AI is already everywhere, right? So this Oura ring, you have an Oura ring, right?
Yeah.
There's heavily AI involved on the back end. Every time, like I was fasting the beginning of the week, and it told me, oh, well, your variable heart rate has changed dramatically or something like that. Your sleep is not so good. And
So I can connect.
yeah, not ChatGPT necessarily. Maybe you can, I don't know. But it's AI in itself, right? ChatGPT is not the only AI. AI is already everywhere. When it comes to ChatGPT, you can use it for basic stuff like set up a training regimen based on where you are today versus where you want to be in like 30 days or 2 months or 3 months. And then you just ask it to set up the daily or weekly reminder and have a back and forth. You can do the image, like take an image of yourself and it can analyze it. In my experience, it's not that accurate. And you really have to take everything with a grain of salt. But that's something basically to kind of keep you on track. Maybe as a lot of times in our life, we would do the things we want to do if we just had an accountability partner.
Yeah.
So if you can see it as an accountability partner, but you still have to put in the work, then that's a good start to play around with it.
Okay. So I use ChatGPT. Okay. What are the most popular
Yes.
What? So that's what I use. ChatGPT. What else is there? There's very popular.
ChatGPT is good as an entry point. It's by far the most popular model. It's very capable. If you use it for, if you want to use it for research, right? It's okay, but there are better tools like Perplexity, for example. Only about 6 to 8% of people even know what Perplexity is. But when it came out in 22, this was way better than ChatGPT or the other models to do research that's factual and based on real-time online sources. So it helps you go through SEC filings. It helps you go through Reddit posts. It helps you go through all kinds of internet sources, and it cites them. So whenever you have a question, you can be relatively safe that it doesn't hallucinate. Remember how I told you hallucinations was a big thing? Lawyers used to use ChatGPT to come up with the strategy for the case, and then it was making up cases that never existed. So that doesn't happen as much anymore with all the models, but especially Perplexity is good in that. Now, if you want to write things, let's say social media posts or even a communication.
I use ChatGPT.
ChatGPT is getting better, especially with ChatGPT 5, but to me, I still use Claude by Anthropic.
It's the best one for
It's the best one for natural sounding communication.
We're learning something.
Gemini by Google is really good they just came out with an image editor, which is great. It's called Nano Banana. Very good as editing tool. Generally good for long and deep research on any given topic. They actually are the first ones that started the deep research. And then there's other tools that are kind of combining everything plus agentic behavior like Manus or GenSpark. I'm sure you never heard of them too, but actually, remember a couple months ago, I asked you about a property back in Poland that my brother was selling, and he was offering it to me at a discount. And I don't know anything about the Polish real estate market. I was asking you if you have a realtor back there, and you sent me some people that were very helpful. So thank you for that. And at the same time, again, it's like, wait a second. Why don't I just ask, right? And again, you have to remind yourself that you have this tool in your pocket. I asked it, how does this property at this price compare to an investment that I would do in America? What are the creative ways to buy it? What are the tax implementations for realtors, for investors? And then it did all that research in like 10 minutes, building me a website, showing me all the results, the map, comparable properties in the area, tax implementations, investment strategy. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that I should consider, right? It's just amazing. And it's there in your toolbox, but you need to remember that it's there, right? Because there's just so much. So it's really the creativity and the remembering to ask the questions is the main thing. And there's a lot of tools. I like to not focus on tools. I like to focus on problems first and then find the best tool. Not the other way around, like, oh, a new tool comes out, how can I use it, right? You don't want to be in a place where you have a solution looking for a problem. You want to be the other way around.
Dude, this is like, I'm like overwhelmed, brother. So where people can find you, and
I publish, I have one of the fastest growing Substacks. It's called AIadopters.club. That's the domain. Kamil Banc. You can just put me into ChatGPT or Google, wherever you prefer. But generally, if you look up the AI Adopters Club, that's where I help. Mostly focusing on business and really trying to keep it to boring AI. So a lot of the stuff we talked about to me, is actually exciting, especially in the relationships, the personal growth. That's really exciting stuff that I don't talk enough about. But there, I mostly focus on how AI can be implemented in your business in order to move the needle.
Perfect. If you like this podcast, guys, you know what to do. Put a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in another episode. Thank you, Kamil. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Jarek.
Thank you for listening. Leave your comments and subscribe for more insights on mastering the inner and outer wealth.